Hi world, it's 3:30 in the afternoon on the 17th of September 2016. As a few of you know, I've not been that well over the last couple of weeks, which is, well, I've just not been. I'm beginning to get back to relative normal now, so thank you for those interesting comments and care comments and concerns that have been coming my way. Now, here's an interesting one for you. The other day, I did a favour for a client, or rather a client did a favour for me. I've been helping a client who's having a few health problems, and she very kindly paid for one of her friends to have a reading with me. Now, this is not the type of person, that the friend in question is not the type of person who would normally have an astrological reading. She came to me and she said, look, I've never done this before, I don't know what I'm letting myself in for, and I looked at her horoscope and my heart sank. And I thought, well, blimey lady, you've got Neptune opposite your Mars this year, Neptune opposite your Jupiter this year, Neptune squaring your Mercury this year, and Saturn sitting on top of your Mercury, squaring your Mars, squaring your Jupiter. So I did my best to be as objective, detached and impersonal as possible, and I said to her, look, I don't wish to be provocative, but it seems like you're having the year from hell. It seems like there's a lot of confusion, distortion, tiredness, dissolving, fatigue, weariness, classic Neptune opposite Mars square Mercury. And I said also it's quite likely you're feeling under a great deal of pressure and stress, that you're feeling physically drained and mentally exhausted with some of the verbal and mental challenges you've had to put up with. Saturn conjunct her Mercury, Saturn square her Mars. And she looked at me and she said, no, I've had nothing like that whatsoever. I've had a really good year. And I'm looking at her and I'm looking at her chart and I'm thinking, wow, that's different. So I thought either she's in complete ignorance of this and she's in denial, but I looked at her and I thought, no, you're not. You're really not. You're just not experiencing what your chart says you should be experiencing. Now, as I said, this is not the type of person who would normally come for an astrology reading. So I thought, okay, what's going on here? Now, I've always said that astrology is not an exact art or science. Astrology doesn't work for everyone. There is, I'm not saying you have to believe in astrology for it to work, but an openness to astrology does help. But when I'm faced with a situation where the person should be having a really difficult time and they're not, it makes me question the validity of astrology as a perfect defining or divining tool. But then I remember, the nature of astrology, as I say, is not exact. It is not a science. Neither is it just an art. It is a mixture of symbology, mathematics, geometry, and intuition. It is a blend of art and science. It doesn't fit. All other forms of divinatory arts are almost exclusively intuitive. All other forms of sciences are almost exclusively mathematical. I have upset a couple of astronomers recently by querying their take on astrology. I think there's a couple of astronomers out there, the bad astronomer for one, who does a great blog, and he really knows his stuff. He's an excellent astronomer and I've gained a lot of useful information from his work, but he hates astrology with a passion. I question, why are some people so open to it and why are some people so close to it, especially the scientists and the astronomers? Why do they see astrology as a threat? Bearing in mind that astronomy and astrology were one and the same thing until the invention of the telescope. Astronomy nowadays is the movement of the planets and stars in the heavens. Astrology is the study of the effect of those movements. But it's left me with the conclusion that there are certain types of people for whom astrology simply, it's not that it doesn't work, it's just that they are in ignorance of it. And this is not a negative thing. I'm not criticising these people or being judgmental of them. But it makes me realise that there is an element of what I would very, very loosely call magic with a very small m in certain ways that are connected to astrology, because if you're not aware of it, it doesn't affect you. Perhaps there is a case for saying ignorance is bliss. But if I were to say that to all my clients, I'd lose all my clients. So I have a vested interest. But then, 3 out of 10 of my clients I give really good readings to. Say, yeah, this next year is going to be fantastic. 3 out of 10, yeah, I have to say, well, you know, it's not going to be so good, but you'll get over it. So my question is, and this is a weird one, I really don't know the answer. What is it that makes some people completely uninfluenced by astrology, no matter how positive or how challenging their chart is at any given time? And if I look for the answer, I have to honestly put my hand on my heart and say, I don't know. Don't like saying that. Alright folks, the eclipses are over. It's Saturday, it's 3:30. I'm going back to my studies. Catch you later, world. Bye.